Greetings and welcome to Miles More Motivation, the show that is designed to give you more happiness, fulfillment, and obviously a little bit of motivation. We are back. It's been a while. As you can tell, I'm in a different room. I've been kicked out. For full transparency, the videos that you saw previous, if you saw any of my videos before, big love and respect for you for watching my videos before. But we were filming those in our living room, and now I'm in a new room because I've been kicked out. The wife has kicked me out of our front room. She said it's not a TV studio until you can justify buying one. Get upstairs. So I've been kicked out of the living room. Sage has officially taken over our household. The living room now looks like a creche, and so I'm here. So the videos are back. We are back in the house. If you've been seeing any of my other stuff I've been doing, going through a bit of a rebrand at the moment, but I'm back. Miles More Motivation, still here, still live, still lock and loaded. We are in the house. So today I want to talk to you about fear. I want to talk to you specifically about punching fear in the face. This past week I saw an article. I've got my iPad here. I saw an article. Surfer punches great white shark to save his wife. An Australian man has been held a hero after repeatedly punching a great white shark until it released his wife's leg. Police said the couple was surfing at a beach near Port, I can't pronounce that, Macquarie, I think, 4 hours north of Sydney. Aussie's now watching like idiot. On Saturday morning when she was bitten twice and injured on her right leg. Paramedics treated her, airlifted to a major hospital. No signs of any major arteries, meaning it's unlikely she'll lose a leg. She's going to be okay, right? And I saw that story and I thought, holy shit. Like, you know, they're saying here, tremendous act of bravery. And he basically, you know, has been called a hero. He just started laying into the shark. The husband said, played down his efforts and said, I did what anyone would have done in that moment. Just phenomenal story. So I kind of saw that and thought, that's a video, right? It's got to be a video because for me, I go, I don't know what I would do in that situation. What would you do in that situation? So I want to kind of talk to you a bit about fear and specifically what you need to do if you want to punch fear in the face. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a fucking scary situation that you had no idea what you were going to do? I know I have. At the time of doing this video, you know, we're still in this kind of COVID shitstorm, if you want to call it that. Anybody that's been physically affected by it is in a shitstorm. Anybody who's been affected by it because of their business, the whole world has gone through the shitstorm that is COVID in some way, shape or form. Unfortunately, I've got friends that have had, family members that have had COVID. Really has been a challenging is one polite way of putting it, right? For me personally, the start of COVID, before COVID, let me take you back to pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, around February 2020, I was doing events all over the country, presenting in seminars, hotels, all that kind of stuff, right? Working 6-7 days a month, not a week, a month, getting paid a living that was 3, 4, 5 times what I was earning in my job previous to that. Life was brilliant, effectively. I had loads of free time. I could spend as much time with our newborn daughter Sage as I wanted to. The days that I worked were full on, intense, 14, 15 hour days, full on. But I worked 7 in a month. I had no complaints whatsoever. And then COVID hit. And if you know, at the time of doing this video, one of the last things that the governments, pretty much in any country, but especially in Britain, if you're in Britain watching, that have not allowed to return to kind of pre-COVID normal, nothing's normal now, is events in hotels. Like, you're not physically allowed to do it. I think some people might say you can do that now. But anyway, in the numbers that I was doing it, packed rooms, 70 people, 100 people close together, can't do that. You can't do it. So any of the people I was working for, any of the private clients I was working for, physically not doing any of that. Income, zero, right? Savings, obviously, but income, zero. We're fucked. Screwed. Physically, worried out of my mind. Don't know what I'm going to do. Sati's still on maternity. Her income's going down. She's going to have to go back to work. I don't have any work. You know, I got a new CV because I always have a CV just in case, right? There's no jobs. Who's going to hire at the start of a lockdown, right? So I'm like, fuck, what are we going to do? So as a coach, right, for a previous kind of life, full-time life coach, I went, well, I could make a go at doing my life coaching again. I kind of went, well, what choice have I got? I'm at home, there's no jobs, there's no events. I have to figure out some way to make a living from my house. I have to do it. And I thought of all these ways. I didn't consider drug dealing, but I did genuinely think, like, what are all the options? Like, what are things that maybe are a little bit illegal that could be done, right? When life's on the line, right, this guy punching the shark in the face, when you're in a shitstorm, you'll do whatever it takes. So I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure. I'm like, what am I going to do? Maybe you can relate if you had this, or maybe you had it at the start of COVID. Income zero, what am I going to do? So I went back to my kind of coaching courses, the marketing, and I remember going in the living room and saying to Sati, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to go all in on my coaching. While we're in this lockdown, however long it's going to be, until we finish this lockdown, I'm going to go all in on my coaching. And for the next 2 weeks, I spent every hour of every waking day looking at marketing, studying marketing, going back to things that I'd studied on mindset, things I'd studied on growing a coaching business. I went back through my original coaching course that I qualified in. I literally studied my arse off for 2 weeks, and at the end of the 2 weeks, I went into the living room and I said to Sati, and I went, I fucking got this. I can make this work. I can replace the lost income. I can do it. And in 102 days, I got us to a point where I'd replaced and actually got our income higher than it was when I was last doing events. Now, I don't tell you that to fucking brag. That's not a brag. I just knew that we were on the line. We were in a shitstorm. We were going to be in a position where we were not able to pay the bills, and I had to bring it. Maybe you can relate. And now, as a result of being through that, I've coached other people who were also in their own COVID shitstorm, who are now out of it, in their words, because of the coaching that I've done. So I've been coached, and now I'm coaching them, and they are navigating their way through. Clients are getting some great results, signing up clients, marriages that were at breaking point because of COVID, marriages restored. Some amazing results have happened as a result of what I've been through over the past few months. So what I want to do in this video is kind of share with you 3 kind of really practical, common sense, but not necessarily common practice ways that I punched fear in the face at the start of COVID, that I think you can punch fear in the face if you're currently going through a period where you're fearful, you're worried, you're anxious, you don't know what you're going to do, you're panicking about the future. If that's you, then I'm going to share with you 3 really practical ways that you can figure this out. So make notes, write this down, because I don't want this to be a fluffy, nice video that you watch and hear and go, oh, that was really motivating, and now I forgot what it was about. I want you to actually apply this, because if you're in a shit situation right now and you know that you need to punch fear in the face, I'm telling you, these are the 3 things I did to go from income gone to income replaced in 102 days, right? So the first thing that you need to do, and this really ties back into this fucking legend that saved his wife from getting killed by a shark. The first thing you got to do is you got to know your deep why. What does that mean? Well, if you're in the sea and a shark is trying to kill your wife or husband or child, in that moment, I believe that we could all have the potential to save our loved one from that shark. Because in that moment, it's fight or flight. It's life or death. So you have to know what your why is. You have to care about getting out of the shit show that you're in, out of the shitstorm that you're in, to the point where it's kind of life or death. And for most people, including me, The reason why I'm not going to lie, for the past 2 years, sailed along in my little fucking comfort zone, kind of like, oh yeah, I'm working 6-7 days a month, not really doing what I was truly passionate about, saying it as it is, wasn't my life's mission. The reason why I did it is because I didn't have a deep fucking why. So you need to have a deep why, like really fucking deep, real deep why, as to why you need to get out of this problem. If it's not, if you don't feel it like this guy felt, if I don't tackle this shark, my wife's gonna die, right? If I don't tackle the shark, we're both gonna die. If it's not that, if you're not feel like you're like fighting, like if I don't do this, my whole life is gonna be ruined, then you need to go deeper into why you want what you want. Like one of the things that I do, whenever I start a new goal, if I have a goal of a weight goal or a fitness goal, or I think about my marriage or any area of my life that's not working as well as I want, I will physically put pen to paper, physically, and write down 20 reasons why I want to achieve that thing. 20 reasons. If I can't come up with 20, it's not that important. I have clients that I take through this process, I coach them through this process, and they'll tell me they want to achieve a goal. I go, how many? Tell me your reasons why. And they come up with like 3. And I go, bullshit. You don't want that. I guarantee with those reasons alone, you ain't going to make it happen. And then they kind of get a bit, they puff their chest out, oh, I can show you, right? So then they have a 4th reason. Show Miles the prick, excuse my language, that I can make it happen. Sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need that leverage, that challenge from other people that I'll show you. Sometimes we need that, but it can't be the only driver, right? Can't be the only driver. There has to be more than that. So you have to know your reasons why. You've got to know your reasons why. It's one of the things I coach people on. Second, you have to be aware of what I call your future-paced consequences, right? What does that mean? What that means is this dude was very aware in that moment of what would happen if he didn't punch the shark in the face. His wife would die, he would die, whole family fucked because of the death of them. They've got kids, extended family, all that. You can imagine, the funeral and then the family have got to go through their entire life knowing that they lost their 2 loved ones, right? So you need to think about what are the future-based consequences if you don't sort this out. So for me, start of COVID, biggest fear was if I don't replace our income, then we're going to lose our house. If I don't replace our income, then our marriage could break down. Because we all know people that have had marital problems, relationship problems, as a result of money issues. So many people argue about money, and money is like this thing that creates conflict, family feuds, divorce, because people are not emotionally developed enough to first understand themselves and then second understand how to make more money and how to figure that stuff out, right? So you got to think about, like, what is the worst case scenario? For me, here's one of the things that, for me personally, I went, if I can't start a business now, I'm never going to do it. And if I never do it, my daughter Sage is going to grow up with a fear that, I can't start a business because my parents didn't. And then she's going to go into job world. And she's going to go into job world maybe because she thought that was the only option. Now, to be clear, I'm not against job world. There's nothing wrong with it. I've had some great jobs over the years. What I'm against is people thinking they've only got one option. And at the time of doing this video in COVID, thousands of people, it's probably heading in the hundreds of thousands of people, lost their jobs. So there's a belief in society that says job is safer than having your own business. It's bullshit, right? And I think most people now would agree. Like, I speak to people that I have clients that are employed, and now when I say that, they're like, yeah, I agree. They're like, I wouldn't have agreed before COVID, but now I agree. I feel like they're like, now I want to do my own thing. I feel like I'd be safer with my own thing than I would be working for someone else, right? So you've got to think about future-paced consequences. If you don't face this fear, How is it going to affect your kids, who you may want to be a role model for? How is it going to affect your relationships? How is it going to affect your loved ones? How is it going to affect your life? Are you going to be that person that's old and grey, who's then kind of regretting that they didn't live life on their terms? One of the 5 regrets of the dying is that they didn't live a life that was true to them. Do you want to be that person who's 90 years old, seeing people in their 30s and 40s living their wildest dreams, and you're like, could have been me, and now it's not, and now I can't because I'm almost dead, right? Think about it. 3rd way to punch fear in the face, probably the one that I most struggled with, but it's the one that I feel is most important of all 3, binds it all together, is you need social support. One of the first things I did at the start of COVID is I got myself a new coach. I got myself a coach because, as Les Brown says, motivational speaker Les Brown, he says you can't see the picture. Well, he says it. You can't see the picture while living in the frame. That's my terrible Les Brown impression. He says you can't see the picture when living inside the frame. The best in the world have coaches, because a coach sees the things that you can't see, sees your blind spots, sees the things that you're doing wrong, right? Like a driving instructor. For me, I had this ego thing that said, kind of growing up as a kid that grew without a father, don't rely on people because they let you down. People can't be trusted. Figure it out yourself. Prove to yourself that you don't need help. Like, help was a bad thing. Help is not a bad thing. Social support is a good thing, right? This guy punched the shark in the face long enough to fend off the shark, but then the shark came back, right? Reading on the rest of the story. But by the time the shark came back, the Coast Guard had come and had pulled them both out of the water. Had the Coast Guard not come, they would have died. Doesn't matter how many times you punch a shark in the face, eventually that shark is going to win, right? That shark is going to win. So the point here is he needed the support. He didn't say, no, don't worry, Coast Guard, I'll carry my back to shore. No, he was like, yeah, get me in the boat. So one of the first things I did is I went, I'm going to need a coach, because my mindset is I'm going to need help. I'm going to need support. There's going to be days where I doubt myself. There'll be days where I worry, days where I don't feel like punching fear in the face. And I need a coach. I need a support team. I need a mastermind of people that can help me to kind of get through the days where I'm in fear. And for me, that has been one of the biggest breakthroughs for me is, and I have a coach, I have a mentor, I'm in a mastermind program, I have all that social support. So on the days where I don't feel like doing a video, on the days where I don't feel motivated, where I'm worried because, I don't know, people have cancelled or things are just not going the way that I thought they would, I'm not where I want to be yet, a coach helps me navigate through and believes in me in the way that I maybe sometimes don't believe in myself. So 3 really practical, common sense, but not necessarily common practice ways that you can punch fear in the face. I hope you found that useful. If you have found that useful, if you've enjoyed this, but you're like, you know what, that's really good, but I feel like I need help on this. I feel like maybe you're watching this going, maybe I need a coach. Maybe that's something I need. I coach, for full transparency, I've coached CEOs of multinationals, Hollywood actors, people that have been in TV shows like X Factor, right? All different types of people, single mums, entrepreneurs, doctors, nurses, small business owners, gym owners, personal trainers, all different walks of life. Everybody needs a coach. So I'd like to offer you a coaching call with me, complimentary coaching call worth £399. All you got to do to book a call with me, send me a message and say, hey Miles, I'd love to book a call. This is a kind of first come first serve. I'm not always going to have the ability to book a coaching session with me, but if you want to have a call because you've watched this and you're like, yeah, I feel like I need that, I feel like I need that support, I need that social support to get through this situation, then just send me a direct message on whatever platform you're watching this on, and I will endeavour to get you booked in for a call. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, get a call booked in. Let's get this handled for you. But also feel free to like it, share it, whatever you want to do, whatever you like to do on social media. And I'll see you next time. Miles More Motivation. Keep punching fear in the face. Over and out. See you soon. Bye.